एकम् अक्षरम् हृदि निरन्तरम् भासते स्वयम् लिख्यते कथम् हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमस्वं चिन्वता मज्जकावम् पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम् देहं मृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तत भावशुद्धिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्टात्मना सोऽहं स्तुतितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम् सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम्. Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday Satsangh from Ramanacentre Center for Learning, as usual, we'll be reading from Guruvachika Kovai, the work by Muruganar Swamigal. We'll be reading 2 verses, and the reading will be followed by a short meditation on the meaning of the verse, and that shall be followed by the practice of Atma Ucharam for 10 minutes. And after these 2 segments of verse reading, meditating on its meaning, and the Atma Ucharam practice are completed, there will be a summing up by our President, Dr. Sharadaka, and that will be followed by the chanting of Sri Ramanashtotram by Vaibhavji and Prarthanama. Today we shall be offering self-enquiry along with it to Bhagavan. We begin this evening satsang by taking the first verse selected for us, verse number 2 222. This is from the segment Investigation into Truth. That is the first segment in the book. After the preface, after the introductory verses, first segment is Investigation into Truth, followed by Meditation into Truth, and finally Experience of the Truth. Today we are reading from Investigation into Truth. The sub-segment is Hankering after Siddhis. Hankering after Siddhis, verse number 222. If those sadhakas who are striving on the path of liberation direct their minds towards various siddhis, the bondage that adheres to them will become stronger and stronger, making the ego tuber root swell up more and more. If those sadhakas who are striving on the path of liberation direct their minds towards various siddhis, the bondage that adheres to them will become stronger and stronger, making the ego tuber root swell up more and more. There is a note from Padamali. Bhagavan, directing the mind towards siddhis is a stumbling block that inhibits progress to the supreme state of liberation. Accepting jnana siddhi, the attainment of jnana, all the many other siddhis are merely concepts of the mind. I'll read the Padamala segment again. Directing the mind towards siddhis is a stumbling block that inhibits progress to the supreme state of liberation. Accepting jnana siddhi, the attainment of jnana, all the many other siddhis are merely concepts of the mind. If those sadhakas who are striving on the path of liberation, so who is a real sadhaka? The real sadhaka is the one who is striving on the path of liberation, freedom from the limitations or bondage. If such ones direct their minds towards various siddhis, if they turn their attention away from liberation, but turn it towards attaining special powers, siddhis can be taken in simple terms as special powers not available to the average folk. Now, what is not available to the average folk as their ability when one seeks? What happens is that there is this coming in of false praise, there is this self patting on the back, there is this success over others, there is this false fame that gathers, there is this accumulation of knowledge more and more, over and over, added on to the previous existing known. That way, Bhagavan says, the bondage that adheres to them will become stronger and stronger. Suppose there is a siddhi that one gets a special ability in language, and everybody starts appreciating the ability of such a person to use language in various ways, various interesting ways, various concepts which is not available to the common folk. Slowly what happens, what began as a kernel of a siddhi it starts expanding. When appreciation starts coming in, there is more eagerness to seek more appreciation. When appreciation is not forthcoming, one is greatly disappointed but tries to fill in the gap and learn new ways, new entertainments, new manoranjana, so that new people come in, new appreciation is gathered, another set of temporary satisfactions are aligned, and again there is again, because again seeking of more, because Bhagavan says in the first verse of Upadesha Saram, Karturajnaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam iti mahodada patana karanam phalam ashashvatam gati nirodhakam. Any karma, whether ordinary or special, it gives phalam ashashvatam. And when one falsely gives value to the ashashvata phala, it will kriti mahodada patana karanam. It will push us into the ocean of karma. Now, why single out siddhis? Because siddhis live a special bondage. I am above all others. See how little people know about this. See how great are those intellectuals. These intellectuals are the really great ones. How few are there? How the common folk are not able to measure up to them. I again strive and add to the siddhi. The bondage increases, the speciality increases, and one is not able to merge in the common folk. The more and more you stand out with special ability, the less and less you are able to identify with everyone. And Bhagavan shows by his life that the real siddhi is jnana siddhi, that there is no difference as you, they, and others. The special ability which makes this ego revel in its stand alone, in its ability to be better than others, is to be totally eschewed. And as Bhagavan shows time and again, through many of his acts, what is available to everyone? The air, let that be available to me. What is available to everyone? The Atma, let that be available to me. What is available to everyone? The Prarabdha that is given by the ordain of the Ishvara. Let that alone bring whatever it brings to me. Let me not enjoy anything special. Let me not be separate from others. Let me be one with everyone, so that I am in touch with the Akanda Akara Vritti. If I feel separate from others, there is no way I am going to Akara Vritti that is underlying everything. The I will remain elusive to me, and I will be moving away from the self. Whereas the real Siddhi is to identify with all. Even those people who are running after special siddhis are not abhorred by the jnani, because the jnani identifies with one and all. There is no one who is separate. To feel separate and special is bondage. It adds on to more and more bondage because I feel more and more special by adding on to my possessions of knowledge, possessions of things. That is why Bhagavan is giving this caution. The bondage that adheres to them becomes stronger and stronger, making the ego tuber root. Ego is that plant which gives that the final phala is a tuber root, and it is growing more and more underground, from which you will not be able to take out the phala. The normal plants, which are not tubers, they give phala so simply, so easily on the outside. Whereas the tuber roots, you have to dig them up from under the ground. They participate more and more in the nature of the ground. If you see some of the tubers, they will have mud encrusted deep into them. So Bhagavan is saying, the more and more you go into siddhis, the more and more you are encrusted with the worldliness, with the bondage, and less is your ability to experience that fragrance, that sugandha of freedom, of oneness with all. To feel that oneness with all, Bhagavan gives us the direct path of erasing the separate nature of the ego, that I am separate from my source. How to erase that? Whenever a thought arises, to follow it up with more thoughts is going to add to my knowledge and possessions. So let go of that rising thought and ask for whom is this thought. Now the answer will come. This thought has arisen for me. The quest, who am I, is the practical application of this verse. That no siddhi is sought by that ego except the siddhi of surrendering to the source, of surrendering to the jnana adhara. That is the real practice which takes us to jnana siddhi, which Bhagavan says that is alone the real siddhi. All others are mere concepts. And when they rise as concepts, hurry, how what a great ability I have now developed. Immediately let it go. How nicely I am talking to people now. Immediately let it go. For whom is this thought? Who am I? And take that ego to the source, to Bhagavan, to Atma, where the Deepa Darshanam, the Deepavali of pure consciousness is ever available. And the Narakasura of ego is now completely extinguished in that Jnanagni, in that pure Jnana. And the Jnana Siddhi is realized to be our very nature and not the I am the body thought. Till such Jnana Siddhi is realized and effortlessly abided in, one should make the effort of not following thoughts with more thoughts, but asking for whom is this thought? Who am I? And relentlessly and happily and continuously seek the Jnana Siddhi alone. With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit in practice for Atmancharan for 10 minutes. Revathi, you set the time.
Yes, uncle, help me.
We continue the satsang by reading the second verse selected for us, 540. Sorry. Verse number 540. This is from the segment Meditation on the Truth. The subsegment is Knowledge and Ignorance. Knowledge and Ignorance. Verse number 540. The feeling that the body is alone I is a powerful and deluding ignorance in you. The feeling that the body is alone I, this body is alone I, is a powerful and deluding ignorance in you. The attainment of perfect jnana is knowing that even this ignorance does not exist separate from the Atma Swarupa, the reality that cannot be forsaken. The feeling that the body is alone I is a powerful and deluding ignorance in you. The attainment of perfect jnana is knowing that even this ignorance cannot exist separate from the Atma Swarupa, the reality that cannot be forsaken. Now in Ulladu Narpadu, Bhagavan says, Udalandri undo ulagam. Udal vittu ulahathai kandar ularo kadaruvar. Usually, the concept of Maya says that the world is unreal. The world is an illusion. But Bhagavan doesn't require of us to know Maya or to expand our knowledge to the extent of knowing that the whole world is Maya. He doesn't require of us that. He just asks us of one simple truth that whether the body is real and your association with the body as I am this body, can it be real knowledge? Is Bhagavan's question time and again. He would time and again show that this body, which is present in the waking state, is made unreal by another body which is identified by us in dream. So the dream body which appears real during dream makes the waking state body unreal, and the waking state body during waking state makes obviously the dream body unreal. And both these, the waking body as well as the dream body, are made unreal in deep sleep, where there is no identification with any of these bodies. So, Udalandri Undo Ulagam, the whole concept of Maya, Bhagavan makes it easy for us by asking us to inquire whether this knowing I am this body and I am this body alone, who am I? It is so clear. The senses bombarding me and me yielding to that bombardment and saying that I am limited here. I was born on such and such a day. I am so many years old now. I came from Banirghata Road by scooter. I came, I went, I did this, I am speaking now. All these are bombardments of identification with the body alone as I. The identification with the body is so strong that everything else is excluded by that. The feeling that I am the body alone is a powerful and deluding ignorance in you. What does this do? The moment I identify with this body strongly, I give reality to Maya. The whole world appearance is also taken to be real. But Bhagavan doesn't ask of us to verify Maya, whether the whole world is Maya or not, it doesn't require. But he asks us a simple question. Does the body say I, or something apart from the body raises and identifies, oh, this body I am, that body I am not, the rest of the particles I am not, this body alone am I. This identity, what happens? It is a powerful and deluding ignorance, says Bhagavan. The attainment of perfect jnana is knowing that even this ignorance is not separate from or apart from the Atma Swarupa. Now, this is the way out. In Bhagavan's teaching, both the problem and the solution are within us. We don't need to feel somebody else is making us bound and somebody else apart from us has to come and release us. No. In Bhagavan, he places the problem squarely within each one of us. That the identification that I am the body is the most powerful and deluding ignorance that binds us. Therefore, that is where is that? That is within us. Now, one may feel this teacher is putting all problem on me. All these days I was so happy, blaming because of that person, this happened. Because of those people conjuring against me, I could not do this. All the forces of nature are now aligned against me. What can I do? No. None of the problems are placed by Bhagavan outside of us. Says that the root problem is squarely inside you. That is the identification with this body alone am I. That is the most powerful deluding ignorance. But fortunately for us, Bhagavan also says, therefore, the solution to all the problems also lies inside you. And that is what to remove this identification with the body. And Bhagavan gives us the Brahmastra, that even this root identity cannot be apart from Atma Swarupa. So for whom is this identification with the body? If we ask, then the attention is put on the ego, and the ego evaporates, and the Atma Swarupa starts shining. Now, the beauty of this teaching is that Naan ezhunda pin ellam ezhum. One need not analyze the troubles one by one and see which better person, which better doctor will solve this operation. Not necessary. All problems arise with the rise of the ego. When you are right in the hospital and the mind is racing, which doctor is going to be allotted? What is the thing to be done now? One should ask, for whom is this thought? The raising of the mind, one can find that it subsides into the Atma Swarupa. Everything is I. There, Tanmaya Nishta. Tanmaya Nishta is that the great happiness that everything is me, everything is I. That is the greatest happiness, that is the greatest stillness. He is right in the midst of all these things. And all one has to do is not to fight with the situation. He is to remove the identity that I am this body. When that is removed by holding the Atma Swarupa is available at any point, because nothing exists apart from the Atma Swarupa. Ulladunarpadu is full of instances how everything is dependent on Atma Swarupa. The இரட்டைகள் முப்புடிகள் என்றும் ஒன்று பற்றி இருப்பவாம் அவ்வொன்றேதென்று கருத்தினுள் கண்டால் கடலும் அவை. All the dyads and triads arise holding one. If you inquire who is that one, then all the dyads and triads they fall away. When the first person rises, then the second person and the third person rises. When the first person is inquired into as to who am I, and the ego is erased, then the second and third person drop away automatically. When in the present moment, who is seeing the present moment? If that is entered into, the past, present, future all fall away. In relation to time and space, if you ask for whom is time, for whom is place, நாமன்றி நாளேது நாடேது நாடுங்கால் நாம் உடம்பேல் நாள் நாட்டுள் நாம் படுவோம். Just this root delusion of I am the body makes us trapped in the whole of time and in the whole of space. நாம் உடம்பேல் நாள் நாட்டுள் நாம் படுவோம். நாம் உடம்போ? Am I this deluding identity with the body? நாம் உடம்போ? நாம் இன்று அன்று என்றும் ஒன்று, நாடு இங்கு அங்கு என்றும் ஒன்று, எங்கும் ஒன்று, நாம் உண்டு நாள் நாடில். The whole of time and space are dependent on the Atma Swarupa. For whom is time, for whom is space, if we ask, we will get Atma Swarupa. But Bhagavan doesn't even ask us of connecting all that with the Atma Swarupa. He says, even the identity, I am the body, cannot be apart from Atma Swarupa. For whom is this identity, if we ask, immediately it will come to me, who am I? We'll put the attention on Arivai, Arival, Arivu, Padakkam. To know the awareness with the awareness. In fact, that is all wordsmithery. It is only being awareness, being existing consciousness. Now, Bhagavan reduces all the Maya into one root ignorance of identification with the body. What is the advantage of this? The advantage of this is that we stop blaming others. We stop blaming circumstances. We stop blaming fate. We say that the root of all problems is in me as the identification with the body. And the solution, this identification with the body cannot be apart from Atma Swarupa. So if I inquire, for whom is this? For whom is this identification with the body? The Atma Swarupa rises and shines. All bondage to all the worldly objects are just burnt in the single sadhana of erasing the identification with this body. And that is the margam that Bhagavan gives us. He makes it so easy. He doesn't ask us to know so many things. Just one thing. What is the root problem? That calling this body alone is I. What is the root solution? This identity also cannot be apart from Atman. For whom is this thought? I am the body. Who am I? So irrespective of which thought arises, the I am the body thought is underlying. That's why Bhagavan says, don't worry about what thought arises. Ask for whom it is arising, it is for the I thought. Put who am I? Then the attention, the light of consciousness is put on the I thought. The part of it is erased. As we put the attention again and again on the I thought, all the contents of the I thought, the vasanas, are eliminated. And the self rises and shines on its own. Till such anubhava is natural to us, one should practice the de-identifying with the body and identifying with the Atma Swarupa, with Atma Uchara. With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit in practice of Atma Uchara for 10 minutes. Revathi ma, you will help us out?
Sure.
Namo. I request our President, Dr. Sharadaka, to give us some remarks. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as the self in all beings. Bhagavan has very graciously given to us the crux of his Upadesha today. And also it is the Upadesha that is linked with his song on Deepavali, where he says Deepavali is the destruction of that Naraka, which is the I am the body idea. So that Deepavali gist Bhagavan has given us again through the verse today, which is actually the essence of the problem is the I am the body idea, and all sadhana is only to erase this wrong notion that I am the body. If one can completely accept it, although we are told again and again, and the example is given from our own life, from our own experience, we are shown the dream, the deep sleep, we are shown the changes in the body, we are shown the passing away. So many instances keep coming in front of us, and despite that, the we're not able to accept the fact that the body is not I. So all sadhana is only to erase this concept. And other sadhanas are said to be indirect because all sadhanas, Bhagavan says, are done with still holding the thought that I am the body. So in a sense, Nandakumar ji has told us in his earlier sharings that in a sense, the other sadhanas could lead to a feeling of attaining some siddhi. And today, while explaining the concept of the siddhi very beautifully, Nandakumar ji brought out to us the fact that any achievement is a siddhi. Normally, we think of occult powers as siddhi, but every achievement is a siddhi. In fact, Bhagavan repeatedly points out the danger of searching for siddhis. In a sense, siddhi means achievement. So the word siddhi means achievement. So any achievement, even the fact that I know something somebody else doesn't know, or the fact that I know something, even if somebody else knows it, that I know something, I know this is right, I am right. All this is a form of siddhi. And to assert that I can do or I need to do because I can do, I am capable of some siddhi. So the first one can say corollary to the I am the body idea is siddhi. So they need to achieve something through this body. That the possibility of achieving something through this body, that becomes the next, the ancillary or the corollary into which we move. Once we say I am the body, in order to assert or in order to reaffirm this to ourselves, we want to show that this identity of this bodily identity is capable of doing something. So Muruganar Swami often says that I am incapable of doing anything. Ennale yadondrum iyaladu. I am just incapable of doing anything whatsoever. That was also highlighted to us by Nandakumar ji, that nothing is possible. If we understand that there is nothing apart from the self or nothing is possible by this entity, then slowly it will quieten. But in self-inquiry, what happens? The very identity is questioned. right from the beginning. Of course, it is true that there is the minimal thought that I am doing self-inquiry, that I am questioning. That minimal thought is there. But what happens is, because of the very nature of the questioning, it will ultimately take us to the question, who is asking this question? And there, at that point, what Bhagavan is telling us in this verse, that it will recognize it is not also apart from the self. When it asks itself that final question, when it turns into itself to say, how can I even ask this question? Even to rise to ask something, I must know who I am. But if I do not know who I am, then is a question of even raising to say or to ask anything. It will consume itself, says Bhagavan. And then Bhagavan says in Padikam, he says, Veli veli teenir manpala uiral viriburu bhuda baudigangal veli voli unnai andri indrennin veru yanarulan vivala. When nothing in this universe is apart from you, Professor Swaminathan has translated it, all enveloping light, how can I be apart from you? When you are all enveloping, how can I alone be apart from you? So this ignorance is also not apart from the self. And that has to be known by experiencing the self, but not as a thought that this is not apart from the self. Because to think thus, then I will not be addressing the ignorance. So Bhagavan asks us to do the inquiry which will give us the anubhava that there is nothing apart from the self. In fact, we say there is a world, but Bhagavan says the world is in the mind, and we can experience that. Then what is the mind, says Bhagavan? Bhagavan says the mind is thoughts. Okay, this also we are able to see. Then Bhagavan tells us all these thoughts are dependent on the I thought. Up till here we are quite all right. We are able to see that also. Although very often we get mixed up with the thoughts, but we are able to separate ourselves. Sometimes, at least by the grace, we can separate ourselves. Then the question arises, who is this I? So it is at that point only that we recognize that everything that is rising from this I is non-existent, because there is nobody to say I. When that question is asked, Naiva Manasam Marga Arjavat, says Bhagavan, there is no one answering to that name inside us, sitting inside us. When we ask, who am I? We recognize there is no one to say, yes, I am the one. There is nobody there. And only Bhagavan is there, only the self is there. But that happens when we, as Bhagavan says in Ashtakam also, through inquiry we have to keep on grinding the mind with the mind. And then gradually all the accretions, all the attributes, all the dust which is covering that Adishaya Shakti called the mind, which is nothing but pure power of the self itself, all those coverings will get dissolved, will disappear as non-existent. One by one they will disappear as non-existent, and ultimately the one who is searching will also dissolve by Bhagavan's grace. And that, Bhagavan says, is really Deepavali. A wonderful Deepavali to every one of us. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Thank you. May I request Vaibhavji and Pratnagar to chant for us. We will all sit in Atmauchara through the chanting.
नमो रमण भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मि मात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। ॐ महासेन नमः, ॐ श्रेण जाताय नमः, ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः। ॐ गुरवे नमः। ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः। ॐ महौजसे नमः। ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः। ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दराय तपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ च्यूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातीताय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजितशलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयाणवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावलिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादकसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋक्शान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणार्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणभगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजलिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवश तादात्म्यभावं गतः निर्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमैदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो नमः।
नमो
Thank you,
रमणा
Vaibhav.
वैभवते प्रार्थना।